Okay, so in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to actually do the most important part, which is creating that document that will be sent out to students so they have evidence of what their service learning is and what they've done. And that document can then be stored in a Google Drive folder and also sent to the manager if necessary. So we're going to go all into the details of how to set that up. So to do that, what we need to do is we need to use another add-on called Autocrat. So we're going to launch this add-on here called Autocrat. So this is Autocrat. Now, bearing in mind, if you haven't got Autocrat in your add-ons folder, you need to go to the store and add the add-on. Now, before we start, what we need to do is create a template. So this is a template that we've created earlier, and it's got all the information that we need. Now, everything in chevrons is what we want replaced when this Autocrat is run. So student name will be replaced with the student name, service, reference, etc. Okay, so all the information is here, and then that's the document that will be completed. But we need that template first. I suggest building that first and creating that. We're not going to go into details on how to do that because it's just a simple Google Doc that you can actually create using these chevron fields. So let's go back now to our Autocrat and we can start a new job. Now we need to give this a name. So this is, and we're going to call this student documentation. And let's go next. And then the next thing we need to do is then we need to find the template that we've created. Now you can actually create one, but we've got one already, and it's really quite important that you actually do this first. So we're going to go from Drive, and then this is the template that we want, or we can just search for it if it doesn't appear in our list. So let's go Select, and then choose Next. So what it's first of all asking is what tab do we want to merge it with? So we want to merge it with our form responses. So this one here, and it's going to match the columns. So what we want to do is then match the column name. So some of these would have been picked up automatically. So the student name here, and that's been taken from this bit here. This is the student name. So what we need to do is match that with what the student name is on the spreadsheet. And we know that that is the name exactly as it is on PowerSchool. So let's choose that. Service, that's already been picked up. Grade has been picked up. Now the reference is the unique key. So we want to go down to unique key. Then the date. Now the date, that will be the date of service. If we just look at our template here, we've got the date of service, which is the date. So let's choose the date, date of service, and today's service involved. All right, so let's just find that. Today's service involved, let's click that. What specific service did you, and then what specific service? So that's picked that up. Explain with examples, describe. So it's picked all these up automatically. And then finally, the manager name. So it's maps. These are all the mappings that it's done. So when student name appears, it's going to put the value of what's in the cell for name exactly as it is on PowerSchool, for example. So now we need to go to next. And now we need to give it a file name. So let's be consistent here with the file name. So I'm going to put the student's name. We can put chevrons in and tags to align them. So we want here to be this one here, name exactly as it in PowerSchool. So let's put that in the chevrons. And then the service date. And that's that one there. So let's copy that. Chevron service date. And then the service. I think that's what the column's called. And then finally, let's just put service record. Now, it's asking for what type. Now, we want this to be a PDF. We don't want the students to be able to change it. Okay, so, and the output type is going to be classic mode, which is multiple documents. So every record in the spreadsheet will create a separate document. Okay, so let's go to next. So now we're choosing a destination folder where all of these documents are going to go. And obviously that destination folder can then be shared to whoever needs to view it. So let's go back to our Google Drive and let's create a new folder in here. And then let's call this student documentation and create. Now go back to our record and let's choose a folder. And there's our student documentation and then select. You can search for it as well. And then next. Now we don't need a dynamic reference a folder. That's if we wanted to put them into more folders, but we don't actually need that right now. So let's click on next. Set the merge condition. Now I do suggest that we do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a condition. Now the condition that we want is if the student has attended and met expectations. So that's the flag that we want. So when that is equal to A, that's when we want this to trigger. Okay, so did the student meet expectations and attend? Yes, they did. If it equals A, all right, so if I can just quickly show you here. So we scroll along, and if this column here, did the student attend and meet expectations, if that column is A, then we want that to trigger. Okay, so let's go next. Share documents and send emails. Well, yes, we do. So at this point, what we want to do is we want to share the doc and send an email. So we've said yes to share doc. We want it to go out as a PDF. We don't want to allow our collaborators to necessarily reshare this. We possibly want to send this as a no reply address, so we can send that in here. Now we want to say who's it going to. Now we want it to go to the student, and we probably want it to go to the manager as well. So let's have a look over here. Student email. So we're going to put $. That indicates we want a field. So we want student email. We don't need spaces, comma, and we also want manager email. Manager email. Okay, then we're going to look at what the subject is going to be. For this, we're going to use the student name. So name exactly on PowerSchool. So let's put that in. Name exam. We need to leave the spaces out as it is in PowerSchool. And then we want to put the date of service. So again, we need $. Date of service. And then the service, and at the end, service record. And then we can type our message in here. That's the email that we're going to send out, and then we can go to next. And this is our triggers. Do we want to run the trigger when a form is submitted? I'm going to say no to that, and I want to set the trigger to go on a time. So we're going to say every hour that trigger is going to go, because when a form is submitted by the student, we have to wait for the supervisor to then submit their form, and then this information can go out. So there's no point putting it on run on trigger. So let's say save, and I want to go up here and I want to preview this. So we can look at the preview here. So if we click on this, we can see it's Homer Simpson, the first one that's going to be sent, because that is where our trigger has been set at A. So let's click on this, and there is our document. Okay, so if we run this now, let's have a look and see what happens when we run it. So it should send 2 records out, because these are the only 2 that have been triggered. So let's click on run. 2 rows will be merged. Okay, so let's close Autocrat. That's actually run. Let's look at over here, and we should have some more information. So that's given us some information on the document. So let's just tidy this up a bit, like so. Okay, so we've got a document ID, and it's given us the links here. It's telling us whether it was successful or not. So it's going to 2 email addresses. So let's go and check our email. So let's go over here, and we've got 2 records here. So let's have a look. Dear Homer Simpson, please find attached your service learning record. Okay, so that one's there. Now let's go back. So those 2 emails have been received. Okay, let's go to our Google Drive and student documentation. And there we've got our 2 records. Let's open one of them up. And there we have it. So the information has been received. Everything seems to be working perfectly. Okay, so that's the service learning system. The next videos I'm going to show you is how to start maintaining this system. If you get a new service, what do you need to do if a new service comes along? And we'll spend some time with the next videos explaining that.